Welcome back to the football terrace. Joined by KJ. Wizzy, unfortunately, couldn't make the show in the end today. So I've got an absolute top class standing with me today. KJ's in the house. How's it going, brother?
I'm doing good, man. Hey, listen, where's my Christmas hat gone? I need to put it back on. It's Christmas Eve. Oh, there it is. It's right here. One sec.
There we go.
Why
There we
would you
go.
do that? Oh, that's it. My sister messing around. All right, there we go. Look, here we go. Christmas time. Let's go, people. Let's go.
There we go. KJ is ready for Christmas. Lots to delve into today. A big shout out, by the way, to our title sponsors at Fan Team. We're going to delve into this a little bit more later, but they are launching a second chance fantasy team tournament that starts in about 21 days time. There's the counter for it now. £100,000 first prize. Go click on the link in the description and pin to the live comments section as well. Check that out. Our title sponsors today, Fan Team. They've got a number of competitions going on over starting in the festive period. One with a £500,000 prize fund, and the second chance fantasy football league there with £100,000 chance of winning as well. A lot of people buzzing to see KJ in the house today. GS is here as well. In terms of the hold up, that's a private thing with Hugh. He'll be back next week. Don't worry about it. It's all good. We were slightly delayed. KJ stepped into the fray for us today. Someone said, I bet Hugh Wizzy's just drunk. Maybe. No, you're actually right. Actually, Hugh Wizzy is just wearing a KJ mask. This is like Mission Impossible style. This is what this is. So Mission Impossible style there. But lots to delve into today. Transfer stories are plenty that we want to speak to you all about. We love a bit of transfers on the footy terrace, and the market opens in just a few days' time. Make sure that like button is smashed, people. As we say, check out Fan Team, our title sponsors as well. But the first one I want to talk about today, people, first one I want to speak about today is Renato Sanches to Arsenal. There's big talk and big rumors that there's a gentleman's agreement in place for him to leave Lille in January. Arsenal needing new midfielders, according to their fans, of course. They're heavily linked with him. What's your take on Renato Sanches as a player? Is it worth another Premier League team giving him a go, do you think?
I think it is. Renato Sanches, obviously, he had that amazing season in Portugal, got his big move to Bayern, didn't work out. It came to Swansea. That was even worse. You knew it was going downhill when he asked for the 85 number and he got rejected, so he had to take 35. So, yeah, I remember all of that. His season here wasn't so good. He went back to Bayern Munich, still no game time, and then finally ended up with Lille. And that's where he rebuilt his career, rebuilt his reputation, got back into the Portugal team. He really has deserved a second chance. He's won the league with Lille as well, so it's not like he's gone out there and done nothing. He's beat PSG to the league as well with Lille, so he deserves a second chance. The only issue with Renato Sanches is, I think, with his injury record. I don't know if he's gotten better over the years. I'm not too sure. I don't know what he's saying this season, but he's had a bad injury record over the past few years. So if he's fixed that, and with the form that he showed with Lille over the last 2 seasons, I think he deserves a chance. And Arsenal, I think, is a great place for him to go. Very good young squad right now, exceeding expectations, on the hunt for European football. Lille right now, I think they're mid-table. Might be the right time to leave. He's gone and won the league with them. What more can you ask for?
I think from my point of view, it's not the injury record. Last time I looked, I want to go check it now, right, while we're live with Renato Sanches, but I feel like his injury record has improved. I feel like it has. I could be wrong. Maybe it was a different player that I checked and had a look. I'm just going to look at it here. We know he had quite a few. Maybe not. Actually, I'm a liar. 3 injuries. 3 injuries in the 2019 season. In the 2021 season, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 injuries accumulate. It's interesting when he gets them again. Out from August to September, most of December and January was out. This season alone, nearly 60 days he's had out this season. So it must have been a different player that I looked at whose injury problems. I think it might have been Konate's I looked at that seemed to have improved. So you've got the injury problems with Renato Sanches, and then the fact that I just think France is his level. And he's that kind of player. I don't take too much stock on in terms of what he does for Portugal, because every time I see him in a Portugal shirt, he seems to do well. But players like Miroslav Klose and Podolski, when they played for Germany, were killers. Club-wise, they were just of a good level. And I honestly, if I look at Renato Sanches, the people like the name. They like the swagger that comes with it. As a central midfielder, honestly, Lokonga, I think will be better than him. I think Lokonga is going to be better than him as an example, first and foremost. I think when it comes to the more advanced role on the pitch, so it isn't his starting position as much, it's where he's going to, the spaces he's going to occupy. So, of course, Odegaard and Smith Rowe start further up the pitch than Renato Sanches, but they occupy similar spaces in the transition, in the play. And for me, they're both better than him. So I kind of look at this as a bit of a weird one for Arsenal. I don't think this is where they need to invest. If they're going to buy midfielders, they have to be better and more reliable than what they've got. And I think that Renato Sanches is worse than what they've got, has a terrible injury record, and he didn't cut it the last 2 times that he was in big leagues. So I sort of look at it as being, I think it's a very, very risky deal for Arsenal to look at doing, in my opinion. Very, very risky indeed.
I don't know the whole Lokonga will be better than him. That's yet to be seen. Lokonga is only he's played in the Belgian league to a good level, and he's had okay performances with Arsenal this season. He's been taken out of the team quite a lot because he's so young. Renato Sanches is a type of midfielder that they're looking for, a ball carrier, someone who can bring the ball out from that midfield area and then transition it into the attack. Partey ain't that. Like they've been relying on Partey to do that, and it's just not been working well. Xhaka isn't that kind of player. They haven't really got a midfielder like Renato Sanches. So to say that he's worse than all the midfielders or like most of the midfielders that Arsenal got, I think is a bit harsh. I know, like you only go by what you see, but there is clear talent there. There's clear ability there, and there's a clear mold of a player that Arsenal could do with. Samuel Lokonga is going to take some time, and Xhaka's okay. Thomas Partey came with all the hype, and he's been below par. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't say it's a terrible investment. It's definitely got some question marks, and I think the biggest one is his injury record, his ability, and what he can do on the pitch. I don't think that's going to be an issue for Arsenal. It's just about keeping him fit.
Yeah. No, I just don't think it. So I'm just replying to some Liverpool fans here that have been tweeting me today, because I tweeted. We're going to get onto this subject later. I tweeted out earlier saying that like the same Liverpool fans defending Klopp are having a pop at Ralph. I said at least I think they should all shut up. And Husim said here that no, I should look at my own tweets. I've been backing Ralph. I didn't. I retweeted something that Neek said, and everyone's like, "Yeah, see, you're backing Ralph." Retweeting Neek's tweet is not me backing Ralph. I'm really sorry. It's just sharing a friend's tweet, and they were like, exposed. Really? I honestly, some people confuse me. If you can find me a tweet where I said Ralph was right about what he said, then you're on to a winner. Very, very strange indeed. But there we go. Anyway, we digress. Yeah, I just don't think it's the right guy. Kesh here said I'd rather
Artur.
Oh
yeah, that could be that's a good shout as well. Obviously, he's our favorite at Juve. He's a very talented player. Came some big hype from Guerrero when he was playing for when he moved to Barcelona. He was a part of a very questionable transfer between him and Pjanic. So we won't go to allegedly it was dodgy. Allegedly. But yeah, like so, he's a good pickup as well. There are some good midfielders out there that Arsenal can go and get and go for a good price. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Arsenal in their transfer window, because if you ask any Arsenal fan or even the Arsenal board if they expected to be the position that they are in now come Christmas, they would not have expected. They would have bit your hand off to be here. So now it's on them. Now, what do Arsenal and the Arsenal board do to go and make sure they secure that European spot and maybe even secure a top 4 spot? To do that, they need to go out and get a midfielder, whether it's Renato Sanches, Arthur, anyone else who's available, Basuma, any one of those kind of players, elevate Arsenal and give them more depth and more players to help them secure that European spot.
Yeah, listen, they do need to go out and do something, Arsenal, and I feel like a lot of teams need to do that. I feel like a lot of teams need to go and do that in January, and I think what's going to be really intriguing about this window is everything that comes with it, because I feel like teams are almost being forced into going out into this market and buying when they maybe would want to wait until the summer, because you've got 2 or 3 teams that have promised their managers they're going to go big, and you never quite know it isn't even as so much a case of it might not even be Villa or Newcastle or Tottenham that are the 3 that are tipped to go big that look at one of your players, but it could be you buy Spurs buy someone from Inter Milan, and now Inter Milan want to use that money instantly to buy someone that's a target of yours. It's that domino effect that we could see happen over the course of January. So I think that everybody's got to try and react to that, really, and see what happens. And Arsenal, I think they probably find themselves in a position they maybe didn't expect to quite be in. They're ahead of Spurs and Man United. Yes, there are games in hand, but they have to look to jump. They have to look to jump beyond that. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. Josh here says, I hope you two are well. Merry Christmas Eve, people. My Spurs targets would be Kesse, Dybala, who's a free agent, Vlahovic, De Ligt, or Skriniar. Winks, Doherty, Ellie out.
Raid Syria, is that what you're saying? That Paratici Conte links, man, got the Spurs fans going to that Syria thinking it's the best league in the world and that, getting all these players and that. Fair enough, isn't it? There are good players, though. There are very good players that he suggested there.
Yeah, but look, I feel like Spurs are the ones that will go big. Spurs will go very, very big indeed. Speaking of big, I knew the Paul Pogba stories would start again because he's back at training. He isn't training with the first team, but he's back in England now. He's had the haircut, looking slick. You know, I always felt he would return from injury a bit quicker under Ralph than Ollie. And I don't even mean that in a horrible way. I just think sometimes there's that extra motivation to maybe get back into a team. You've got Fabrizio today that has kind of said there's no sort of talk about him leaving in Jan. There are a lot of other outlets that have said there is a possibility he could go if the right kind of offers are made. But where's your head at with Paul Pogba, bruv? Do you feel like would you just prefer him to be gone now so the Paul Pogba talk would stop? Or are you more of the sort of mind of, actually, I would rather Pogba stay and maybe Ralph be able to convince him? Because remember, Ralph ain't going to be the manager next year, but he's going to be here for 2.5 years. Would you still like Pogba to be convinced to stay on at Man United?
I love Paul Pogba. Absolutely. He's one of my favorite Man United players in the modern era. I would love him to stay, but I think for the betterment of the team, for the betterment of himself as a person, it's time to just move on. There's a lot that's happened from when he first joined till now. He's had some very good moments. You've had the Europa League, the Carabao Cup wins. You've had that form under Ollie. You had that form that took us to the top of the table last season. He's had very amazing moments, but then he's had some very bad moments, like especially under Jose, that period under Jose where things were just looking splintered. He's had the time with the press here. He's had to call out the press how many different times while he's been a player at Man United in this country. I think it's just best for all parties that he goes, and that hurts me saying, because obviously he's a player that I loved. It even when he was getting little cameos as a youth player, I was always excited to see him. I was always excited to see Paul Pogba play football for Man United. When he left, I was like, oh man, I wanted him to stay. But when he came back, I was very happy. I was in Canada when he came back. I remember being so gassed, and he got all my Canadian friends saying, why are you happy? I was like, well, Paul Pogba's back, baby. You know what I mean? I'm there just getting absolutely hyped. And it just hasn't been everything we wanted it to be. And as a Paul Pogba stan, if you want to call me that, as a fan, if you want to call me that, it's not been everything I wanted to be. There could have been more. There should have been more from him and the club. So I think it's just time. I feel like the midfield, Man United have been operating way too slow in the market for a midfield partner for Pogba that the time's gone. The time to build a midfield around Paul Pogba is now gone. He needs to go somewhere like Madrid, maybe a PSG. If he wants to go back to Juve, I don't know why, but maybe back there where he can just slot in and he can just do his thing there while we go get midfielders to create a midfield that can go on and potentially challenge and then win the Premier League. I think we just can't do that with Paul Pogba, unfortunately.
Yeah, do you know what? Look, I think I would still love for the Paul Pogba situation to resolve itself. Like I really, really would. I'd love for him to stay. I'd love for it to work. I'd love for it to click into place. And some of the stick that Paul Pogba gets, the whole like unlocking Paul Pogba, the whole is he a flop? Is he not? Is he is he worth the money? There's so many kind of things to unpack. And when you're having a serious football conversation with people, we know why Paul Pogba cost the value that he did. Part of it was his commerciality. There was also this ridiculous clause that Paul Pogba had in the agent had with Juve, which essentially meant he got like 50% of the valuation of the transfer. So the transfer was always going to be ridiculously high in terms of fee, because if they would have done it for 50 million quid, Juve would have walked away with 25 million pounds. Man United, of course, were prepared to pay it because they knew they would make a lot of money back, irrespective of trophies, from the commercial side of things, which they have done off of the name of Paul Pogba. So it's why, again, I don't believe in net spend, because we always look at it in a very basic, arbitrary way of what it costs for it to buy a player versus what you get for selling players. We don't ever look at the image rights, the salaries, the agent fees, and then on top of that, the commercial income that a player generates. A player costs £200 million over 7 years, but generates £280 million of income for you as a business. That should be factored into the net spend, and it never is. So I tend to not really worry about the fee. But it hasn't worked out to the level that we wanted it to. And I'm talking about what the end result is for Manchester United. Could it still happen? Maybe. The one thing that Pogba's not been blessed with, it isn't like he's been playing for Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool or Pep Guardiola's Man City. Man United have not built a conducive, consistent team since Paul Pogba has been here. Part of that is down to Paul Pogba, and he'll take a percentage of that responsibility. But at the same time, we haven't had an established attacking line. We haven't had an established defense. The only probably one position that we've had in the last 5 or 6 years where we've gone, it's been a mainstay and fairly consistent, has been David De Gea. We've always chopping and changing with who our back line should be, who our midfielders should be, who should play next to Pogba, who should be the main striker. We've never created like a balanced squad where if you look at City and Liverpool in the last 5 years, yes, they've had people come in and out, but they've had a solid spine. They've had a solid spine of players that have created consistency amongst themselves. And I think that for me is what's been missing for Paul. I would love the club to be able to resolve it in my heart of hearts, but I think it's done. I think it's over. I would like us to maybe, again, I don't really care if it's January or the summer, as long as we've got an adequate replacement. And I don't think there is a like for like that we can bring in. Someone of Pogba's quality who's available. I think it's more a case of having to look for something different, whether it be a Declan Rice, whether it's something that's a little bit more left field, like a Hadara or a Kamara. That I hate the fact their names rhyme. When you say them together like that, we need to do something. But I think I don't think he's going to accept our offer. Unless Ralph can work some magic with him and Raiola in the sense of rebuild that relationship with the club and get everybody on board. That's what I would hope.
You've already seen though, Terry. You've already seen Ralph don't care. He ain't here to beg. He ain't here to convince. He's here to be, do you want to play for us or not? And that's all he cares about. So I don't think there's no, Ralph is going to try and convince, but he's going to be like, no, he's going to say, do you want to go or not? Please tell me so I can move forward with my job. And that's how it should be. That's why Martial is in the situation that he is. Because Ralph has come in and said, do you want to be here or not? Because if not, then you're free to go. The problem with Man United for the longest time is we've been so hell-bent of trying to keep players that we may love, but we're trying to keep players when they clearly don't want to be here, or they clearly want to leave, or they clearly want to go do something else with their career. We've tried and begged and made them stay longer than they should. Darmian, Sanchez, so many different players. You got Paul Pogba now, Martial now. we need to have this mindset of, if you're not willing to play for Manchester United, if you see your career elsewhere, go and do that.
Yeah.
Man United will still be here without those players.
Bro, and that's what I agree with as well. If it's almost, do you really want to be here, Paul? Yes or no? I don't. I want to go somewhere else. Don't make a big song and dance. Don't get into a war of words with Rayo. Let's shake his hand, wipe our mouths, and move on. I also feel like, though, with Paul Pogba, he's always been unfairly treated, though. Not by the club as such, but people always want him to be what he isn't. So, I don't quite know the saying, but it made me laugh when I first heard it. Like, if you judge a goldfish by its ability to climb a tree, you'll always be disappointed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I love that because, of course, it's so ridiculous, but brilliant at the same time. But people go, oh, why don't Pogba control and dominate a midfield like a Scholes or a Gerrard did? Dictate the play like a J5. I'm like, that's not his job. That isn't what he is brilliant at doing. And the whole unlocking Paul Pogba thing has become a bit of a joke and a bit of a meme. But to a degree that is true, Paul Pogba needs a fairly free role on the pitch where he doesn't have to worry about too much responsibility. Now, if you have a team like France, where you are blessed in the attack, where you can sit Paul Pogba deep and say, look, we're going to get Kante to win the ball. I'm going to really boil this down to basics, roll it to you, and then you're going to feed the ball into the front line, and the front line is going to win the game for us. Then you can stick Paul Pogba deep and not miss him. Man United's problem has been our attacking line has been too inconsistent. We haven't created or scored enough goals and won enough games via that. So then he's always been the focus. Well, Pogba's there. He cost 90 million. Why hasn't it worked? And it's because we haven't always utilized him in the right way. And I think that, for me, is the key component. That is the real key component to me when it comes to this situation massively. And I think that's also kind of like why I would like to see him move on to a degree as well, if that makes sense. I would kind of like to see that as well. So we have some super chats here. I want Gerrard to be the next manager. Klopp out is, dare I say it. I think Mane is overrated, Terry. What do you think? And I think Mane is amazing. Everyone knows I rate Mane massively. We star the super chats. We'll always bring them up later if we don't put them up straight away. So stay relaxed on that for us, people. But look,
thank God, flipping StreamYard did that. You know how annoying it was losing super chats, fam.
And it doesn't. They no longer delete any of the
older messages as well.
What I would love them to do next is like allow you to customize the scene, so you can put the cameras exactly where you want them, rather than them being like prescribed to like set. It'd be very, very good if they did. If you're listening, anyone at StreamYard, get that done next. Terry, people want him to play well on a consistent basis, not his job. What is he? So again, you're twisting the words there, Winnerpool. You're trying very hard, but it's not about people wanting to be consistent. It's about people wanting him to do everything. So the idea of a midfielder being consistent is, well, what do you want him to do? Do you want him to consistently create, be influential in the attack? Whenever he's been put into the role to do that, he has been pretty consistent at doing that for a midfield player. His numbers kind of prove that. The problem is that Paul Pogba, this is where I defend Paul Pogba. It's 1 week, it's like sit in the double pivot and we want you to control the tempo. That isn't what he's good at doing. That isn't his main attribute, in my opinion, in the Premier League. That isn't what he's been great at doing. He can do it okay. So he then put into a role that isn't his best role. So he struggles a little bit. But then he'll go for a 4 or 5 game period where he's given a more creative role and he's stuck in the attacking positions on the wing. Starts to do well, and then he's stuck back into a double pivot. And then he'll cover the position at number 10 for a little while. I think that the one thing Pogba hasn't had given to him is, right, your role is going to be this. And for 90% of the Premier League games this season, that is where you're going to operate. So you can really hone your game in so you're one thing and not a multitude of others. We've almost sort of used him as a jack of all trades and a master of none. And that's come through us never having consistency on the pitch. And Pogba isn't the only one who's struggled with that. Like Rashford in the last few years, 1 minute he's a centre forward, then he's on the left, then we're sticking him on the right for a period of games. Martial's been here 7 years. 1 minute he's a left winger, then he's a centre forward, then he's a left winger, then he's a centre forward. And all of this has been in very key, important moments of player development. Man United need to get a style of play locked. They need to get specialists in their positions locked. And yeah, of course, there's rotation at times, and you mix things up every now and then. But we have no consistency at this club for nearly a decade now. And Pogba, I'm not giving Pogba a complete out. Of course, he's had bad games. But the proof's in the pudding. With and without Pogba, before and after Pogba, unless you have consistency, you'll struggle. It's almost he's the scapegoat as to why we haven't achieved. That's bullshit for me.
And then when Pogba goes, when Martial's gone, he's gonna move on to Bruno. He's gonna move on to Donny. He's gonna move on to Ronaldo, Sanchez, Rashford. Like it will move on to everything. But the main issue at hand is the running of the football club, the way that it wants to move forward. Now, the theory and the idea is that Ralph will come in, go upstairs, help the club find an ethos and a style of play and lock that in, and then boom, we can go forward. But we don't know until that happens. So right now we're in this weird, like in between purgatory space of how is this gonna go? In theory, it sounds amazing, but in practicality, what's gonna happen? And that's just waiting. So Paul Pogba, Martial, Rashford, Sancho, Bruno, Ronaldo, all these players, Varane, all these players, until we get consistently behind the scenes, until we're consistent there, they're not going to be fully consistent unless, okay, we'll take Ronaldo out of that because Ronaldo is Ronaldo, but you know what I mean? But we can't expect him to always be consistent if we're expecting Greenwood to be a striker, then to be a right winger, then to play left wing, and then Sancho on the right wing, and then the left wing, and then Rashford. Like we need actual stability, which hopefully is coming in the next 6 to 12 months. But until then,
no, I agree completely. And look, I don't expect any rival to defend Paul Pogba or to defend any Man United player, but just keep that same energy when it comes to your club. There never is, and whatever else. And there's a comment here that says Paul Pogba is overrated. And look, if you think he's overrated, then that's absolutely fair. I just keep my consistency when I review Man United. I am disappointed that certain players haven't cut the grade and cut the mustard, but I give them all the same level of excuse. If we've had all failed managers, dead managers, past it managers, poorly run, top to bottom, we can't be overtly harsh on the players. I think when you completely judge players is when your club is being run right and the right man. Like if Jurgen Klopp signs a player that flops because of what Klopp's created, because of how good Liverpool are, it's a lot easier to focus on the player. When you're at a club where, like literally for the last 2.5 years, it's been you've got a PE teacher managing you, you've got the worst manager in the league, the worst coaching system in the league. Nobody else wants him. But then when players are not progressing at the right rate or being consistent, we're trying to blame them like they're the problem as well. Those two things don't compute for me. They just don't, like on a real football debate, that doesn't make any sense. So, but yeah, that's our take on Pogba. You missed my super chat. I did not see your super chat, Jason. When did you super chat? Because I've scrolled right way back up and I didn't see it, but I'll go and check now, Jason. For that, thank you for reminding me. Sorry, I've got a really itchy nose. Oh, you did super chat earlier. Sorry, you said, is the secret phrase hidden gem? The secret phrase isn't hidden gem. We gave the first clue out for the new secret phrase yesterday. We revealed the previous one, which was prolific goal scorer. It was so easy. I cannot believe with Arsenal connections, Manchester Derby connections, the word Michael Owen, no one thought prolific goal scorer.
No one, Terry, I'm sorry. No one in this modern day is thinking prolific goal scorer equals Michael Owen. No one thinks that. Like we know Michael Owen as that dry, boring ass pundit on TV. That's what it is.
Yeah. Do you know what it is for me? By the way, there's another comment here. Ned says, Echo Chambers Terrace hiding my account. Well, if I was hiding your account, I wouldn't see your comment. If you write something with an offensive word in it, YouTube will or the YouTube algorithm picks it up as maybe being nasty or offensive. It will block it automatically. It's nothing to do with the football Terrace. So if you're being horrible or you're being overly critical and you're saying something like this show's trash, it won't show up. YouTube will automatically block it. Even there's one here that says here that's hidden. YouTube have hidden it, and I can click show or hide, and it says I'm not even a United fan, but we all know Pogba is garbage. Because of that, YouTube picks it up as maybe being offensive because of the word garbage being in it. I don't really. Again, that's how bad it is. So it's nothing to do with the Terrace. So dry your eyes, mate. You've not been blocked. We don't do that unless you say something sexist or racist. Sorry, Terry, I'm not having that at all. Pogba has the talent to play as a CDM. He doesn't want to. He wants to play as a playmaker. Bruno coming in was the end of that. He is an employee.
Wait, he has the talent to play as a CDM, but he doesn't want to. You just said it. He doesn't want to be a CDM. So why are we playing him CDM? Like, think about what you're saying here. Like, he may have the talent to do that, but if he doesn't see himself as being that, he's not going to develop his game to do that. Even if, unless he's convinced to do so, but it's too late now. The man's almost 29, so like he is where he is now. But come on, people, use your brains when you make comments. Come on, please.
Mate, I totally agree. I wanted to ask you though, about Jurgen Klopp. So, and not just Jurgen Klopp, Ralph Ragnick, a lot of managers and people complaining about the sort of congested fixture list over the festive period. We had Louis on last night, and a number of Liverpool fans that have claimed that the festive fixtures is like a new thing, like this hasn't existed forever in the English game. Like, what's your take on the complaints that there's too many games, it isn't fair, player welfare? Like, what do you think did you agree with them that we shouldn't play this much of a Christmas? And if so, what do you think the real motivation is behind it? Do you really think it's player welfare? Do you think it's them and their own season, them looking for a psychological edge? What do you think it is?
Listen, let's not act like Klopp ain't actually making a fair point. He's making a fair point. There is a lot of games going on, especially in this Christmas period. It's very mad. But that is the Premier League. That is English football. I don't know what Louis and the Liverpool fans are saying. I swear, if Klopp says like the best way to train is to train with no shirt on in the cold, then man will believe that's the best way to train, bro. They just listen to what man says and repeats it. He's not wrong, but this is the Premier League. Yes, we are probably one of the only countries that do this, because I know that winter break happens in Germany and other countries as well. But it's just the way it is. Now, if you want to change tradition, then I'm cool with it. I'm not too fussed. I'm not like this has to stay. But people acting like Klopp ain't making a valid point are just being salty, in my opinion. You don't have to agree with it. You don't have to agree with it at all. I'm not saying you have to agree with what Klopp says. You're not a Liverpool fan. It's not communist Merseyside. But to act like Klopp ain't making a fair point, I think that's ridiculous. The player welfare, you do have to look at it. You do have to look at the kind of injuries that are being picked up around this time. You have to look at the kind of conditions that are being picked up with footballers now that we've seen not just Aguero retire. Ericsson obviously had his condition. Daley Blind had a heart condition and has to play, and now plays out. You have to look into these things of why are these things recurring. Funny enough, all three of those players all played in the Premier League. Now, does correlation mean causation? I'm not too sure. I'm not a scientist. But I think you have to start looking into these kind of things. Like, okay, how do we better the game for us? Because if healthier players mean better football. So that's all I want. Just the best football.
Yeah. So just very quickly, guys who saying I've starred your super chats. They're coming up very soon. So please relax on that one. I get that. If there's scientific medical evidence to back up a claim, I will listen to it. My view, and listen, I don't think, look, what Jurgen Klopp has said, I agree with most of it. Some of the things he said in his interview around, like, it was almost like having a pop at people, like, why people got nothing else to do but watch football. Almost saying, like, if you want that game on the 28th, like, you're sad, like, do something, spend it with your family. I didn't like...
Man saying touch grass, you know.
I know. I didn't really like that, because it's, again, you're putting everybody into the same box. We don't know everybody's circumstances, scenario, their mental health, why they want it, what their reasons are. As an example, you know, for a lot of people, going to those games on those days are a big part of their family traditions, their Christmas, their personal Christmas culture, and everything else. So I think we've got to be very mindful of how we talk about people in these circumstances. I suppose my view on it is very much this, though. At this moment in time, I think that the people are putting two conversations together as one, and they're not the same thing. The COVID arguments, I get. A circuit breaker, putting something in place that protects the health and safety of these players, I think that's a completely separate conversation to the general festive fixture list. It is busy, it is difficult, it is tough. It's part of what makes our league so amazing. Getting through the Christmas period, juggling your team the rotation elements. It's an obstacle that's whether it was by design or it's happened naturally that way. It's part of our game. Getting through the festive period is so hard. Coming out of it with maximum points is sometimes impossible. But that's what that jeopardy is what makes the league exciting. I believe a lot of managers use the Trojan horse, which is player welfare, as a buzzword to make people go, oh, I can't challenge their points now because then it's like I want players to get hurt. I said earlier on, and I stand by this, until I see these managers and clubs look at their own practices and behaviors around how much rest time are you giving players. Forget the COVID times because everybody slowed this down for now, but postseason tours, preseason tours to China, Australia, America, where they're traveling tens of thousands of miles sometimes to play games. Because they're making money from that as a club, they're not moaning about that per se. They're not kicking off about that. That player welfare in that instance isn't being discussed. I think what they want to do as football clubs is be able to make as much money as possible, but of course, keep their teams as fresh as they can. Because what has happened in the last 4 to 5 years is the margin of error has become a lot smaller. 1 or 2 draws, 1 or 2 defeats can stop you from winning a league title now. And I think that's what the motivation is in its heart of hearts. Jurgen Klopp likes a small squad, doesn't like a huge amount of rotation outside of a sort of a 13, 14, 15 player group. But of course, the festive period makes that very difficult. You throw in AFCON, you throw in this semi-final in the League Cup that he may not necessarily have thought he would get to with that first half team that he put out. And you've suddenly got all these extra games and it's very, very stressful. We've added a winter break in, and there's another winter break this year from the 23rd of Jan to the 7th of February. So winter breaks have now been added into the game. I went and had a look at I just went and picked some random players from the 80s and the 90s. You know, Ian Rush at Liverpool was playing between 50 and 60 games a season through the 80s. I picked David Beckham and looked at his Man United career, between 50 and 60 games a season. There is this weird kind of notion now that this fixture list over the Christmas period is new and that players playing 50 plus games a season is new. It's always been around.
Yeah, that point. That's
why when I hear player welfare, players are playing too much, I'm thinking, but if the games have always been there, I don't feel like that's your true motivation. Equally, I know you've got to get players fit and stuff in the summer, but keep them in England, keep them local, and stop putting them into big multi-million-pound competitions, making them travel all across America for 3 or 4 weeks. How does that, in the long run over a season, keep people fresh? It doesn't. And for me, I do believe that there's a Trojan horse in this argument. There's this, first of all, mixing it together with any kind of C19 conversation, I think is wrong because they're separate issues, in my opinion. But I believe that there is another motivation at play. And you've had Ralph Ragnick come out and speak about maybe the bigger team shouldn't be in the League Cup. I'm really sorry to say this. No, stop. I keep using this expression and not everyone gets it, but I'll stand by it. Stop jerking our rice. The way we operate as a nation in football, we have a League Cup, we have an FA Cup, we play football over the festive period. Cut out an international. Add an extra week's holiday in somewhere. But stop trying to change our game so dramatically. People think sometimes they change is sometimes good and everything else. We are the best league in the world for a reason. And I say best because more people watch us than anybody else. And I'm going to be really blunt. I don't like people coming into our game or sitting on the outside telling us that we should change this, get rid of the festive fixture, do this, do that. There are little things you maybe could do. Maybe the Premier League clubs come in the 4th round of the FA Cup. Get rid of FA Cup replays. I think those small changes are key. I'm not even overtly bothered about a fixture over the course of Christmas being taken out. But think about it logically. Whatever you do, the problem's still going to persist unless you start cancelling competitions. Like if you move this game on the 28th to another date in the year, you will create a fixture congestion at some point then also. We've got a packed out agenda. And these clubs and these players and these managers are making more money out of football than ever before because of the competitions, because of the sponsors, because of the TV companies. But then they sit there With the other hand, moaning about it. Give some of the money back then and play less games. That's what annoys me about it. I don't believe that player welfare is this motivator like they say it is. I don't believe them. If it is, cut your preseasons shorter, give your players more time off, rotate your first teams a little bit more, because if player welfare is key, then winning the Premier League has to come second as well. But it isn't. You want to win first, and you are looking to gain any advantage you can to give your team a better chance of winning. That's the key motivator, and I just wish people would admit it, that the key motivator is winning games of football.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I think with the whole Ralph thing, that's made me laugh. You know what makes me laugh about the Ralph thing? Is how many people that we heard complain about the League Cup? How many people that do we know? Besides, I know you don't complain about it, but many people complain about the League Cup. Why is it a competition? A waste of our time. I don't even care about this competition anyway. But as soon as someone comes in and says, you should get rid of it, they want to be upset. Bro, you've been saying this for years, but just because man them from Germany come and say it, it's now an issue. Listen, I'm not saying Ralph is right. I don't agree with Ralph in terms of that you don't have to get rid of it. But I do agree that there needs to be some kind of change to the way that it works. Maybe maybe make the teams in Europe excluded from the cup and literally let it be for teams and let them fight for something different, because you got European football, you've got the FA Cup, and you've got the league. Do the European teams need a fourth competition? You know what I mean? You can maybe do that, or maybe if you do finish top 6 or whatever, they have to field their under 23s, give their under 23 experience, change up the format a bit. Yes, don't get rid of the whole thing, but let's not act like people have not been complaining about the League Cup for years, and now that someone's come and said it, now you're upset.
No,
that don't run with me.
Mate, listen, and there isn't anything any of them have said where I've gone, oh yeah.
I know, but the thing is, I know you're calm because you've been consistent. I'm talking about the inconsistent ones.
No, and I get that, and for me, it's like, just tell us what you rule. I'd see through the Trojan horse. I don't think there's a lot of what Jurgen Klopp has said that is wrong. I just don't believe his key objective is, but the poor players. I don't think that's in his mindset, because for me, and I get that they do run the risk of ripping a hamstring. They do run the risk of like getting an injury. If they are at risk of this many games, if it is leading to things like organ failure, if a doctor comes out and says it, I will completely get behind it. But I'm not even that bothered if someone's hamstring rips. You guys are putting your bodies on the line. Elite level sport. It's normal. It's normal. Every sports person in the world risks injury when they compete. It's part and parcel of elite level sport. Every time a builder goes on a building site, he risks breaking his hand with a hammer. These things happen. When you do a physical job of any sort, there are risks that come with it. When you are highly privileged, as football players are, I totally get again, I'm ring fencing the COVID argument. So someone will go, yeah, but COVID is different. It is different. Absolutely. That needs to be looked at. That needs to be managed, and players need to be spoken to. Equally, though, with all the games that are coming up, players can refuse. Like, I just don't see that players are playing more games now than ever. I believe that the intensity of the game has increased, and that's why maybe now we see the better teams winning more games, higher win percentages, and people want to maintain that. But I think the motivations come from, we want to maintain the level of quality that we've got to. How do we do that? Well, we want to try and get some fixtures taken away. We want to get less congestion so we can play our game the way we want. And I think that's the key motivator. And I think what annoys me about it isn't the request for less games, isn't the request for less congestion. It's the fake motivator behind it. I just don't believe them. It just, when they're saying it, I'm like, sounds like an excuse to me. It just doesn't resonate. It just doesn't resonate for me, because I believe if certain managers' teams are sitting 6th or 7th in the league and they weren't competitive, I don't think they'd be overtly moaning. I really, really don't. But maybe that's just my take on it. It's something about it feels off to me. It really does.
Either way, football needs a revamp anyway. It just does. International breaks need a revamp. League Cups need a revamp. Like, even league scheduling needs a revamp. Like, it just does. So, and whoever's motivations behind it are what they are.
But then it's also knowledge. There's a comment here that says there should be a winter break. There is a winter break now. There was a winter break last year. I think there's been a winter break 3 years running now, but there definitely was last year, and there's one this year, and that's on the 23rd to the.
People think winter break is December, where it doesn't have, well, technically January and February are still winter time, so technically it's still
again, what will happen though is this. This is why I don't think I don't think player welfare is the key motivator for certain people. If we took out 3 or 4 fixtures around the festive period and pushed them to other parts of the year, the seasons start earlier and finish later. That's just basic. Then they get less rest in pre-season. What would then start to happen if a manager went through a period of a lot of injuries, or his team came back staggered because it was an international tournament as well? It would be, we have too many games in the season now, and there's not enough rest time in the summer. We're not prepared to start the season. Yeah, but you wanted the fixtures over Christmas gone. You wanted more breaks in the season, which means the seasons are now longer, which means you get less time to recoup in the summer, which means you get less time to prepare for the new season. There's always going to be someone that then moans about it. Generally in life, people will moan about things that impact them individually. And what they tend to look for is like a pseudo-moralistic reason to push for it. But behind the scenes, it's a way of getting them out of doing something, or it makes their life easier. They're traveling to work cheaper, or whatever it may. I even see this with the world we live in now. I see a lot of people, because I follow them on socials, that are like, I can't travel into work, it's too dangerous. But then they're out 2 or 3 times a week in nightclubs. I'm like, they're using a pseudo-moralistic stance to work from home, but they're ignoring that same reason when it comes to going out clubbing with their friends. I just feel that's how most human beings are. I'm like that. We all do it. We look for the morality reason to get people to buy into what we believe in. But I always feel like there's a more personal motivation behind it that we don't want to show, because we don't want to appear to be selfish. And I just think that's what Jurgen Klopp, Ralph, Pep, all of them are doing. It's what would be best for me and my team to win a game of football, to win the league, to win a trophy.
So if they come out and said, to be fair, I made doing this because I just want the best for my club, you would be like, all right, cool. It's just the hidden.
I would buy into that more, but what would happen is most of society would go, that's just selfish, so screw you.
Yeah.
And my view is I just don't think like other people think. I'm more a case of, I prefer the honesty. I've always said this in life. I prefer someone who says, I prefer an aggressive person to a passive aggressive, because at least you stand with an aggressive person. With passive aggressives and bullies and sly snakes, you never know where you stand. I prefer someone to be nasty and but upfront about it than lovely to your face, sunshine and rainbows, but a snake in the grass. I just prefer that approach from human beings. And maybe I'm the one with the problem. Maybe I don't. Maybe I've got a societal issue where I whatever, but I just see through it, or it feel like it. Maybe I'm overly cynical. I don't know, but it's like, tell me what your actual problem is and stop making up a fake issue. Do you get where I'm coming from?
No. Your argument makes sense.
That's but yeah, like, that's just my Merry Christmas, you filthy animals. Yes, that's a great film. I might even watch it later. I haven't watched that yet. Reese here says, if you're feeling unhappy with your presents this Christmas, just know someone is opening a Newcastle top. P.S. Donny in a spliff on the 27th. Love that. Aaron in the mud. Love that, Reese. Big up yourself, hilarious, my bro. That's a good super chat. I like that. And yeah, but that's just my take on it, mate.
There's a few more super chats, Terry.
Yeah, I'm going to go back and put some of these up. Terry, winter break with an FA Cup and Carabao Cup, 3 Premier League games, 6 games in January.
People don't listen. They clearly don't listen.
There is a winter break. It's from the 23rd of Jan to the 7th of
and it's alternated as well. It's alternated too. So like half the teams will have their one break on 1 week, and then the other half will have it the other week. Like, guys, come on now.
Yeah, exactly. There are more European games only affect top teams. And this is also true. Again, but this is why, again, I think everybody just wants... I honestly think if you turn around now and said to like the big Prem teams, you can enter the FA Cup at the 5th round and you don't need to enter the League Cup. It's like you're not in... I guarantee they'd vote, they'd go yes, they'd say yes to it. But then do you know what would happen? This is why I know the money's the motivator. Every other club will reject that on the vote, because the smaller clubs need the bigger clubs in those competitions to make them their money. I tell you what else would resolve this problem, and you'd shut every manager up from talking about it. I guarantee you this would fix the problem. If the Premier League turned around and said, you know what? We need the big boys. The big boys bring the money in. That's why we need you in the earlier rounds of the tournaments. It's why we need you doing all these things. We'll just pay you a bigger cut of the TV revenue money. Watch them all. Watch every owner of the clubs turn around and go, right, let's see your player welfare nonsense now. Shut up moaning. We've got what we wanted, an extra 20, 30 million pound a year. That would also resolve it. So you'd never get those votes to come in where we could remove the bigger teams from those tournaments because the little clubs want them there. The little clubs aren't moaning about the players being burnt out because they need these games.
Wait, talk about the games, yeah. The smaller clubs, League One, League Two, yeah, they play their league, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, and flipping was it J Prain, the EFL trophy?
Yeah,
and they play just as many games.
And a lot of their contracts at that level is like a lot of their contracts. They only really get paid the full money if they're playing. Right, so if they're injured or they're on the bench or they're not in the squad, they don't get paid. These guys want more games because they're trying to earn the crust. I guarantee you, sometimes in life, privilege can create those first world problems. If Premier League football players weren't so rich and they needed a player to make their money, they wouldn't feel as tired. I really believe that.
I'm saying this. I'm all for football being a year-round thing because guess what? I have to work year-round. Do you see me getting a summer break for 2-3 months? No, you know what I mean. You work nearly every single day for the whole year. Everyone else gets a yearly workload, and we're saying footballers can't do the same for doing a game and a sport that we would love to do and want to play. And listen, I'm all for with them playing year round. Just make it better. That's all I'm saying. Make it better.
But this is the crazy thing as well. Mitch here says, why changing the 28th to the 29th is such a big thing? Because again, I'm just looking at this from a purely mathematical point of view. If you move it to the 29th, cool. Some of the games I believe could even be on the 29th this year. But you then create, when's the next game? When's the next game? You're not really, like I've said before, playing Wednesday, Saturday is the same as Thursday, Sunday. It's a concept in the mind that is different. The rest time is the same. You get longer to prepare for the Thursday game, and you get the same amount of time say you play on a Saturday and then Wednesday, Saturday, or Saturday, Thursday, Sunday. I don't see the big difference. I believe it's a mental thing. I'm all for pushing the game back by 1 day, but is 1 day going to make all the players' health issues go away? No, it's 1 day. 1 24-hour rest is going to fix things. That's why it's bullshit. That's why it's bullshit, Mitch. Think about it, my bro. I'm having a go at you. Player welfare, players dropping down, players getting injured, hearts this, oh my God, this, oh my God, that. We'll push the game back by 1 day. Will that fix it? Yeah, brilliant. No, it's not. It's 1 day.
No, that's facts. It's fact.
What it means is that certain teams that want to rotate less, that want to win the league, have an extra day's rest to win those points in a congested period because they want to win the league. And I respect that. I don't respect this. We need an extra 24 hours rest. Otherwise, every single player is going to break their leg. Oh, get out of here. Get out. It just doesn't make sense.
Until they get a full research and a full investigation into the health of footballers and amount of games they play in X, Y, and Z, managers can't fully say it's for the welfare of the players. They can't. You know what I mean? Like they can say.
And I get that certain players can be red zoned, but that's why there's a 25-man squad limit. By the way, the managers who have the prescribed systems that work irrespective of the individual brilliance in the team, less of an excuse. JTT Williams says the clubs are richer even after wage increases. Maybe the Prem should increase the squad lists a little bit. Again, I think having big squads, more substitutions is a much better solution than taking games away, cancelling competitions. I really do. Just make it 5 subs per game, period, point blank, all the time. Do it. In fairness, I think most of the Premier League clubs even wanted that.
Yeah, they want it back. I think it's the Premier League that just said no again. I think in the name of tradition, but everywhere else has full subs bench. Because remember, in England, it used to only be 7 subs. You know, 7 subs on the subs bench, and then 3 subs that can come on. Everywhere else was doing full subs bench. We're now doing full subs bench. Everyone else is doing 5 subs. we can adapt to 5 subs. Like everything that gets changed in football isn't against tradition. Again, it's about improving it and making things better and trying to give a new kind of way of doing things. Like F1, I'm just going to F1, but they change their regulations and rules every couple of years. Why? To adapt the sport, to keep the sport interesting, to give it a new edge. Football should do the same. We're not saying doing what Perez was saying and make 30-minute halves and stuff. That's stupid. But give little tweaks here and there to make it more
and those things can help. And then again, though, but what you'll find is someone that likes a smaller squad or isn't happy with their squad depth will look at an extra subs and go, but that doesn't help me. But if it was all about player welfare, then allowing more subs would fix the problem, because you can rotate the starting lineup and rotate in game. But that isn't the motivator for most of these people. It's what would make my team at its optimum best. I'll tell you what would be: playing less games, being able to play my first 11 in every game possible. Like that's what the motivation is. I know it is. Let's do some more of these comments here. Geez, guys, relax. It was an opinion on the fixtures. If he is not allowed to express his opinions, no need to get your knickers in a twist. Relax. It's not even about a Klopp thing. Like I've said, Klopp's a front runner in this now because he's one of the most famous managers in the world. My opinion on this will remain the same if it isn't Klopp saying it. So Liverpool fans, my view, don't get upset because Klopp has said this. I'm giving you my opinion on the situation irrespective. Klopp's almost just a side dish to this. Like, I think the same about Man United managers that moan about it and everybody else. That's just my take anyway, but I'm pretty consistent with my takes on these things. I don't really change my view. Terry, you clickbaited. That's KJ, not Hugh. Yeah, we explained that at the start. We actually said that before we went live because this will get called a clickbaiter for it. But there we go. Dare I say I've not missed any of your super chats, buddy. Terry, why do you hate us? I don't hate anyone. Terry, what do you think about Ronaldo playing in the Europa?
Oh, he'll never be there, bro, because he's leaving,
never
bro.
Gonna happen. Never gonna happen. He will leave, my bro.
I bet Ronaldo would rather not play in Europe than play in Europa League. I can guarantee you. He'd rather go to a club that's not in Europe than be in Europa League with Man United. That is not happening. Hey.
Yeah, absolutely. Terry, Klopp wants 3 days between the games in every period of the year. Nothing more. How do you have a problem with that? Is beyond me. I don't. You're not listening to me. Winnerpool, I need you to respond. Yes or no, or you understand. Him wanting 3 days rest isn't the issue. I believe he wants that because he wants to win games and that makes it easier more than player welfare. I don't believe the player welfare call. That's all I'm talking about, the pseudo-moralistic stance, not what he wants. Thank you, my bro. Please tell me you've got that now. That's computed. There we go. I think Mane is overrated. Terry, what do you think? I want Gerrard next season. I thought I put all your super chats up. If I didn't, I'll go back.
You waited for a few to do the last couple, but with people. We have the super chats. We have them. We just need to wait.
You did 4. I can see 4 on here. It isn't showing me anymore. Like sometimes you've got to remember this ain't on me. This is the technical stuff. Like sometimes I'm like, I just can't see things because they're not there. Okay, there was one more from you. It says COVID, Klopp out, Gerrard in. Klopp is overrated, is what Dare I Say has got to say. Sorry, I did miss that one there. There was one more that you put in. Maybe because of that word that was in it, like YouTube put a word block thing on it. Where's Hugh? Hugh couldn't make the show in the end. I'm not going to go into where Hugh is because that's his private business. So, yeah, I can't give you that information because that would be wrong of me. But he'll be back next week on the show. I've got some Twitter takes for you, bro. I want to speak about some of these things that I've seen on Twitter today. Viewers, this is some good questions here that we're going to delve into. We want some of your quick fire questions as well for us on the terrace. But I want to go to a few things I've seen on socials the last few days. Now. Before we do that, remember, we've got a big title sponsor on the show today, Fan Team, great organization. They are giving, if you've messed up your fantasy football team and you want to start again, they are offering a second chance here. A second chance fantasy football tournament starts in 21 days' time. So you've got a long time now to build your team. Over 6,000 people are already taking part in this. You can get yourselves involved as well, where you can pick a brand new fantasy football team and you can get it ready to enter for the second half of the season. The link for that is in our description below. and pinned to our live comment section as well. Go and check that out. You're going to see a lot of content between myself and Fan Team over the coming days and weeks, really promoting this. I'm going to be building my team very soon as well. So go and get that done. They've got a number of games available at the moment as well. One you can see in the top left corner or top right, depending on how you're watching the show, where you can win part of the £500,000 prize pool as well. So go check out their website now. All the links below. Now, KJ, I've got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
In their prime, now viewers, this is for you as well, so make sure you're listening. In their prime, if I was to offer you Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang or Diego Costa, who would you pick?
Costa. End of the day, like hands down. Costa was an absolute menace, man. I hated that guy and his ugly face, bro. Like, he's not ugly, but he's hard to look at sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, this guy, man, was a menace to everyone. What he used to do to Arsenal was rude. I remember one time he got Santi Cazorla sent off. I think it was Santi Cazorla because he just walked backwards and he accidentally went into him. And then Diego Costa just flopped to the floor and the ref gave him a second yellow and a red. From that moment, that guy, I was like, this guy is an absolute villain. He's just a villain. He's a bully, physically strong. He was quick. He could finish. Bro, like, when I say this guy, I hated him. But that's because he also was good. You know what I mean? And he was excellent. He's won leagues. He's won cups. Can't say the same about Aubameyang. Yes, he's won a Pokal and an FA Cup. But man has not played the Champions League for how many years? Man has not carried a team to a winning a league. It's no competition. It's
yeah.
Costa.
I mean, for me, look, Aubameyang was amazing at Dortmund. There's no doubt. But you know, Diego Costa, that shithousery that he had, I despised him in a Chelsea shirt. But that's because I knew how good he was, how hard he made it for his opponents. And if I talk Premier League prime as well, there is no, like, one guy was winning Premier League titles, as you say. The other guy hasn't been able to do that. I feel like Diego Costa could handle things when the going gets tough. I don't think Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang can do that. So Costa for me, 110%.
Let me just check something as well. Because I know Hulk just won the Brazilian league. Was Diego Costa part of that as well? Because if he is, he's gone to Brazil and won a league as well. Let me see. Diego Costa, he has won the La Liga twice, Europa League, Super Cups, Champions League runner-up. He's won the Premier League twice. Yep, this last the season just gone, the 2021 season for the Brazilian Serie A, he won. He won the Brazilian FA Cup as well. It's no debate. The man's just won it everywhere he's gone, basically. Like, I love Aubameyang. Aubameyang was amazing for Dortmund. When he went to Arsenal, his run of form in the first two seasons, amazing. But you can't compare the two, man. It's Diego Costa, hands down.
Yeah, listen, 100% for me, Diego Costa. You just can't. Yeah, I just can't look beyond him. Again, I know some gooners are going to twist that into when you saying Aubameyang's rubbish, and I can't be dealing with getting into childish debates today. I can't get into childish debates at all. It's not about that. It's just Diego Costa, especially in the Prem, better as far as I'm concerned. Let's see what the viewers are saying here. Costa in the Champions League final over Aubameyang, 100%. What are we saying here? Costa Vardy front two. I mean, that would have been a formidable front two, actually. That would have been a really, really good. That would have been a really good one. A few people saying Aubameyang. Aubameyang is Arteta out, is what Kojo has got to say here. Maybe. Let's have a little look at some more of these comments. Does Diego Costa have a golden boot?
No, but he has golden trophies, baby. You know what I'm saying? He's got way more cups. Let me just check, just in case he has got one. Team of the season. Yes, he hasn't got a golden boot, but who cares when he's got like all the trophies that he's got?
Look at this, though, right? So he played 89 games in the Premier League versus 128 for Aubameyang. He scored 52 goals. Aubameyang's got 68, but with like 50 odd more games, 16 assists each. I sort of look at it along the lines of like Costa's output was actually better as well. But I think what Costa brings to your team is some intangibles that Aubameyang doesn't. That ability to fight, that ability to be dirty when you need him to be, that ability to like drag your team through adversity. I feel like he's got that, and those things are, you can't quantify them with statistics.
There was a period where it was like it was Fabregas and Costa were just doing disgusting things on a football pitch together. It was mad, and then and I had Hazard into that as well. Oi, listen, Aubameyang and Ozil and Aubameyang and whoever you wanna put in that little trio is not touching Fabregas, Costa, and Hazard. It's not.
We've got a very difficult one here. Kevin's thrown a new one in. Viewers, use the comment section wisely. Claude Makelele or N'Golo Kante?
Oh, I have to say Kante because I'm not old enough to fully remember Makelele like in his prime. So I'll just have to say Kante. Nothing against Makelele though.
Do you know what? It's a hard one. Claude Makelele was so good. And I don't think it is a tough one. It is a tough one. He won so much. Champions League, but La Liga, I know he won obviously the Premier League a couple of times as well. Such a good player. But I do feel like N'Golo Kante has taken that defensive midfielder role to another level. Maybe just more popular, more fashionable. I'm going to go with Kante. If I had to pick two in their prime, if they're both in their prime, I think I would pick N'Golo Kante. I think I would pick N'Golo Kante. Only just as well, just N'Golo Kante would be my pick. But it's very, very difficult. Josh here says, legit, Costa is probably the only man Conte feared.
man shipped him out of
by text as well. Nothing face to face. Man did it by text. Get some more of your comparisons in, people. Like we're really good. A lot of people Kante all day long. Kante just more advanced. Kante or Vieira.
Oh, I'm taking Vieira.
I'm still picking Kante on that one.
I'm taking Vieira. That man
not really
was
biased. I'm going to do that. Makelele, he is an OG, my friend. He was sensational. Makelele, but nowadays I would take Kante, is what Winner Paul says. Kante is two players, basically. Makelele was a beast. Makelele was just so good. He was so good. Right, someone put another comparison for us.
There is one that's decent. Where is it gone? Here it is. Prime Mata or Prime Ozil? I've got my answer already. I already know.
Overall career or just a Prem?
Just Prem.
Just Prem. Oh, it's so hard. Because Prime Juan Mata wasn't at Man United.
Hey, listen. It's Prime. It's Prime Mata, man. It's Prime Mata. In the Premier League, it's Prime Mata.
Ozil was special. Ozil was special. I'm just trying to look at this. It's hard. Ozil was so good, but I do feel like I don't know why I feel underwhelmed by him in the Prem. He played a lot more seasons though at Arsenal. 44 goals in 250 games. Mata. Just at Chelsea, got 33 games in 100. And, Mata's a better goal scorer than him.
Mm-hmm.
Equally in his pomp, as good a creator. Did he win more trophies in the Prem? Must have done. Must have won more trophies.
He won Champions League. He won Champions League with Chelsea as well.
Did he?
Yeah.
All my stuff's frozen, by the way, so I can't see anything right now. All my screens are frozen, so everything's gone still. But Champions League winner with Chelsea, Europa League winner with Chelsea. I know he won. I don't think he won the league.
Winner. That's why he won the league.
Did he win the league?
I swear he won the league. Or what? Surely. One sec. Surely he won the league with.
No, I don't think he did.
Chelsea.
No, he won the FA Cup, Champions League, and the Europa League.
Oh, he never won the league with Chelsea. That's peak. That is.
But what is
considering how good he was?
Ozil won 3 FA Cups. See, if you're looking at it on who you prefer, that's just an easy decision. Like I preferred looking at Ozil. I think Ozil was just brilliant to watch. But when
Yeah,
you're
I
looking
also
at
preferred looking at you as well, fam. You know what I'm saying?
with his eyes, his eyes are everywhere. I'm gonna have to do this the old-fashioned way now. How do you nitpick and split between two brilliant players? Stats. That's
Oh
the only way.
gosh,
That's the only way to do it. Well, stats are gonna.
Terry. If you go an overall career, I'm saying Ozil. Overall career, I'm picking Ozil definitely.
No. Like Matter's going to be deceptive. Matter is going to be deceptive in this. I'm doing it on stats here, and we're doing their prem eras. We're doing their prem eras, right? So let's look at their statistics, right? Juan Matters is coming up in a few moments' time. So Ozil here. We're going to do stats, and we're going to do their. We already said Matters trophy haul in the Prem better. We've already kind of said that and established it, right? So in the Premier League, because we have to include Man United as well, right? So in the Premier League, Juan Mata, 51 goals for Man United. That's mad, isn't it? He's got for us 51 goals, 30
as well.
32 for Chelsea, 47 assists and 58 assists for Chelsea, right? So that's that's 83. 7 is 15, 9, 100, 150. That is mad, you know. So in the Premier League era, Juan Mata has got 8, 9, 198 goal contributions for Juan Mata. That is, so again, deceptively high. You know?
Wait, in how many games? That's almost 200. In how many games?
In 200, 300, 400, 411 games.
Oh, that's really good. That's what like
really good, very good, very good. Now Ozil at Arsenal only 254 games he played. See, it's 44 goals and 77 assists. So that's 11, 8, and then 12. So it's 200. I mean, his ratio is better. 121 goal contributions in 254. They're both actually about right. They're both about 50%. So statistically, it's very hard to tear them apart as well. Let's have a little look at this. So let's just work that out on actual levels here. So 121. So
Terry, you know what I forgot as well?
What?
They've both won the World Cup.
So Ozil 47. Sorry, mate. Sorry, Ozil 47% efficiency. Juan Mata, his efficiency was.
You're a nerd. Oh my days.
No. 48% Juan Mata. 48% Juan Mata in the Prem with better trophies and with bigger trophies, more stats, both brilliant. Juan Mata wins the fight. Juan Mata wins. But that's where you have to go down to, like, you can't just do it on what you like to watch. It has
I know, but like, but when they're so close, it then just becomes preference, in my opinion. Because look at that, they're basically similar.
No, true.
But in terms of both of them as a career,
one won the Champions League, bruv.
Yeah, but Ozil's got so they both got a World Cup. They both have a World Cup. But Mata also has.
Did Ozil win the World Cup during the Prem era? I think he did, didn't he? Yeah, he must have done.
2014.
Yeah, he was definitely here in 2014.
Yeah, he was. So yeah, he did win the World Cup with Arsenal. But then Juan Mata also has a Euros as well. So he has World Cup and Euros.
Yes, he does. When did he join Arsenal, though? I'm just trying to check here.
It might be in 13, 14. He joined, 13, 14. It was his first season. I remember when they signed him, that was a big coup as well because he was not expected to leave Real Madrid. Saying that, Real Madrid went on going 3 and a bounce after.
Yeah. That's it. Maybe that's the deciding factor. JT says Gary Neville. I don't know what that's in reference to, my bro. But that was quite a long one. Any more for any more people? Let's see if I can see a good one in here. It was 2014. Listen, Ozil was amazing. I just think Juan Mata was actually underrated, and I think he's been underrated because his time at Man United just hasn't achieved. By the way, also got to remember what he won at Man United: he won an FA Cup, a League Cup, and another Europa League.
So, no, that's what I said in Premier League. I'm taking Juan Mata.
So he won 2 Europa Leagues, a Champions League, 2 FA Cups. It's got to be Juan Mata overall. And he was influential, even in Man United's trophies that he won. He was influential in all of them, really.
Yeah, he's got Copa del Rey as well when he's at Valencia too. Yo, listen, anyone, I love Juan. Right now, he needs to leave Man United and just go enjoy the sun in Spain or somewhere, or just go to another club. But him as a player, he was a graceful player. He was a beautiful player. I hated the fact that he was at Chelsea.
I've got a hard one for us.
Go on.
Fabregas or Paul Pogba? That's so hard. I'm going to go very quickly on this before my heart kicks in. Cesc Fabregas.
It's
as a Premier League player, I think, one of the biggest mistakes ever in football, and he won't look at it as a mistake, but Cesc Fabregas at Arsenal was one of the best midfielders in Premier League history. He was pretty good when he came to Chelsea.
Yeah.
But what Cesc was doing, I saw him dominate games for Arsenal against Barca with a broken leg. With a broken leg and score a penalty. Cesc Fabregas was leveled, bruv. He was leveled.
It's not even a heart thing. It's Cesc, man. Like, come on, bro. The levels. Man went to Spain and was part of one of the great. Remember, he's part of the greatest team Barcelona has ever seen. He was part of that. And he came back to England and did the thing he couldn't do with Arsenal, which is win the league.
Yeah. And he ended Jose's career, essentially.
Yeah.
So just saying. This is a good one. People think I've got an agenda against Arsenal. I don't. I speak facts. Prime Sterling or Prime Mane?
That's
hard.
That one is hard. I like them both as equally. If you go in Trophy Hall, you're picking Sterling because obviously he's played for Man City. Through what four Premier Leagues, beats one Premier League and the Champions League. Does it not? Does it?
I'm gonna have to go. I say Mane is the better player.
Yeah, overall player, it's Mane. He's a better finisher.
Achievement, Sterling. Mane better player. Sterling's got the better haircuts, definitely.
No. There's a period where Raheem had this little.
Raheem had that weird perm thing.
It was.
I don't know what that was. I didn't know what that was. I wasn't sure what it was, so I never commented because I could have
At least mine is consistent. At least it's consistent with the team, bro. You know what I mean?
It's hard when you're bald. You're always consistent, bro. Do you know what I mean? It's hard to not be.
Or man's just holding on to the last bit of hair that he's got down the middle of his head top. I'm saying let it go, bro. You know what I'm saying? It might be quicker as well. But yeah, it as a player, it's Mane. In achievements, it's Sterling.
Yeah. No, I go with Mane on that one. This is hard from Kesh. This is so hard. Cesc Fabregas or David Silva? Woo! Screw you, Kesh. Screw you, Kesh.
Why?
That's all I'm going to say. I don't want to answer this one.
I'm going to do it. David Silva.
I'm still going to go with Cesc. I still think Cesc Fabregas's peak. I would, if you line them both up, Cesc Fabregas scored more goals and created. What I do want to do, though, I'm going to do, this isn't to decide it. This is more of a, I want to see how this comes out. I want to do Cesc Fabregas's stats versus David Silva's. Because, again, I think they're both going to be underestimated. David Silva, by the way, deserves to go down as another one of the great Premier League midfielders. 100%. Deserves it. He just doesn't. I don't even think Cesc Fabregas gets enough credit, to be fair, as well. So let's have a little look here.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. Fabregas is not if you go through the Premier League, you talk about the greatest midfield. David Silva is above him. What?
David Silva for Man City in his career. So he played 436 games, right? 77 goals and 140 assists. Which is mad.
Hey, I'm sorry, Cesc. I'm sorry. You're amazing.
Nah, hang on.
From that.
Hang on. Cesc Fabregas, though, right? So Cesc Fabregas. For Arsenal, 304 games. So 134 less games. He got 96 assists. Okay. And 57 goal contributions, but then played another 198 games for Chelsea and got 22 goals and 57 assists. So I'm going to have to add all this up real quick. That's a 9, that's a 7. That is a 13. That makes that a 10 and a 15 there. So Fabregas got goal contributions in total. It's 112. Push that to 115 is 13. 232 goal contributions for Cesc Fabregas versus the 200. I'm really made this hard on myself now. That's 11. Push that over 217. However, the game difference was massive. So I just want to look at their efficiencies. This isn't to decide, but I want to look at their efficiencies. So Cesc Fabregas, 232 goal contributions in 502 games. Divided by 5. That's a lot of games for English teams to him. So he had a 40. That shows, by the way, how good Mata was. Mata's Cesc Fabregas' efficiency was 46% of the games that he played in. It's going to be very, very close. So 217 divided by 436. 49% efficiency for, and again, you're talking 2 or 3% here, which is why I always say great players always have great numbers. In the attacking players. You can't not have great stats, but the efficiency of those two is just out of this world.
I'm still taking David Silva, man. That guy is special. If you go along, if you talk about the greats of the Premier League, in my opinion, you rank David Silva above Cesc Fabregas.
You know what I think David Silva has to an advantage, though? Is he played for City that were nearly always good when he was there. Like, imagine Fat Cesc in his Arsenal time, but playing for a team like Man United. Imagine him what a proper good club at that time. And Arsenal were good, but not in the same way. Let's do some more of these. I really enjoy them, especially this type one. Prime Suarez or Prime Benzema? Mad.
You know what? For personal agenda as well, it has to be Benzema. Has to be Benzema. I know. Terry, you say take certain things out of it, and it's pure football. I'm still going Benzema.
You're going with Benzema.
Yeah.
I'm going Benzema as well. I am not taking things out of it. I'm going Benzema for that reason. Now Benzema for me. Do you know what I love about Benzema? I swear he's outscored Raul at Real Madrid, and no one knows.
He's one of the highest scorers. Karim Benzema has been so underrated because he's been with Ronaldo.
I'm a liar. He hasn't overtaken Raul yet, but he's 24 goals behind Raul. And he'll score 24 goals.
What number is he in the list? Like,
he's the fourth highest goal scorer in the history of Real Madrid. He is 9 goals behind Di Stefano. Like, you're talking, but no one speaks about Benzema. It's mad. He's almost one of the highest goal scorers in their history, one of the highest goal scorers in Champions League history. Done a free. His career dwarfs Suarez's, in my opinion. I actually think it does. In terms of individual players, they're both brilliant, but Benzema is so disrespected.
Benzema is just saucy, man.
EPL Salah now or pre-Madrid?
Pre-Madrid.
So Spurs Madrid Bale.
Spurs Bale versus Liverpool Salah.
Do you know what? Again, it's slightly unfair because he wasn't in as good. You put Pete Gareth Bale in this Liverpool team. Do you know what he could do in it?
Here's the thing, like, it's hard when you do comparisons to a player whose prime in the Premier League were young, so they started off young, so the first few years of their career is obviously not going to be as good.
Yeah.
Versus a player whose prime is legit their prime in the Premier League. But
I'm going to put on that comparison, how it's written, I've got to go with Mo Salah. But if you compare, like if you were to get their prime careers and put them up against each other, I probably would still pick Mo Salah, if I'm being honest. Just
prime careers. You're Gareth Bale, 3 Champions League, 2 La Ligas.
On achievements, no. On ability and like how good they were is what I mean. On achievements, you can't. The comparison is incomparable right now.
Someone said Kane or Rooney. Like, that's a debate.
Mad. Absolutely mad. In terms of achievements, it's not even Harry Kane falls behind Luke Chadwick in achievements. I'm only joking. Vidic or Prime Van Dijk, both in their prime. Who are you picking?
bias. I'm not saying VVD. No, not VVD. Vidic. Just
Vidic?
straight bias. Just straight bias. Straight bias. I'm just letting people know that's what it is. Like, I don't care if Van Dijk is better. It's Vidic. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you on that, brother. I hear you on that. Do you know it's funny as well? Someone just sent me through Wayne. Now I know Wayne Rooney played 2 seasons as a striker, but he often played as a second striker. Do you know Wayne Rooney's efficiency at English clubs was 431 goal contributions in 670 games?
You know what upsets me about
Man.
Rooney? Yeah, he legit was. There was a period of time where you could have said he's in the same breath as Ronaldo and Messi, or he's close enough to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there was that period, and man just went on the booze way too much. Oh man,
There's that, and there's also this element of he wasn't selfish enough. So
that's what he's got to say. No, about the positives. Okay, never mind.
I ain't talking about them, man. I think from my point of view, it was very much with Wayne Rooney. Like when we threw Van Persie into the mix, it was great, and it helped us win a league title. But Rooney could have scored those goals. We went for Van Persie because he was a £20 million option. What we should have done for 2 or 3 years prior to Van Persie arriving, we should have bought a world-class number 10. We should have bought world-class midfielders. We should have bought world-class wingers to replace the likes of Ronaldo that was gone, and Giggs that wasn't a winger anymore. We ended up sacrificing Rooney and using him in these secondary positions far more than we should have done. And that doesn't mean we shouldn't have got Van Persie, but you actually look back at it now, Wayne Rooney called the club out and nearly left over it. The lack of investment at the time that we were putting into that squad also damaged Rooney slightly from an individual outputs point of view. You imagine when Ronaldo left, if we'd have brought in Karim Benzema like we were linked with, if Angel Di Maria would have joined then that we were linked with, we had Wesley Sneijder's that we were linked to. I know like everyone hates if you actually put world-class players into that team and surrounding Rooney and kept him in that, he would, for me, just would have scored and assisted more because he would have just had extra quality around him. So Rooney partly faded too young, and I think he didn't take good enough care of his body, but he was also impacted by the lack of investment from the Glazers in the last 3 or 4 years of Fergie's reign. And by the time we started spending money again, we were just spending it wrong. But yeah, he was brilliant still. Lampard or David Silva or KDB?
Huh? Oh, so I was like, Lampard or David Silva or KDB? Well, it's definitely not KDB. I want to say that for sure. And KDB's quality.
I'm going with Frank Lampard. Not as a technical footballer.
Yeah.
In terms of what he won, what he achieved, the level of goals that he scored, I'd go with Lampard. I'm going to go with Lampard on that one.
It depends what you want. It just depends what you want. I want to leave that one as inconclusive. I ain't answering that one. Arsenal team to get Arsenal only team to play 2 games in under 48 hours unfair. Huh? I'm confused.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. I don't know what that refers to. I think he's saying anyone wants to do it. Right, let's do a few more of these. I want a juicy one, man. I want a juicy one. Pogba or RVP?
Oh, Drogba or RVP?
RVP, that's good.
Robin Van Persie.
I would probably go Robin Van Persie. Do you know the only reason I wouldn't pick RVP is he had those 2 years back to back for Arsenal and then Man United where he didn't get injured. Spent a lot of time out after that. Van Dijk, Terry, or Silva?
Thiago Silva. Thiago Silva.
John Terry. I hate to say it, but John Terry, I think.
Personal bias. But
yeah, I do get that. Like, if we take Terry out because of what he did, Van Dijk.
Over Thiago Silva?
Oh, no. Yes, I think Van Dijk is better than Thiago Silva. I do.
As in Korea? No, Korea?
Not Korea, but as a Premier League defender. Then it depends what we said earlier. It was Premier League era, so because they're all Premier League. I'm going with Premier League on that. I do think he's a better centre back. I think. Let's do a couple more of these. I'm just seeing a lot of, and what's this one here? Based off their talent, Ronaldinho or Neymar? Ronaldinho. Let's just move on. Ronaldinho every
It's not,
day
Terry.
a week.
It's not so easy just to be. Let's move on. That's not a let's move on question.
Is it not? I thought it was easy.
No, come on, Neymar. As much as Neymar is a very, he's kind of like Paul Pogba, a very controversial kind of figure in terms of how good you think he is. But if you're talking about based off pure talent, that's the question. Based off talent,
Ronaldinho.
you can argue Neymar. You could argue that. Hey, listen.
No. Listen, Neymar is amazing. Ronaldinho for me is a level above him. On talent, we're not talking outputs, trophies. If we're putting it all into the mix, it's different. Which is on purely based off talent. Ronaldinho for me every day of the week.
To be fair, Ronaldinho was the only man that I've seen like pass the ball with his back on a casual occasion. Like,
he did things. Do you know it's funny? Like again, Neymar's amazing, but like when he does stuff, it don't flow the same. Like Ronaldinho would do things against your team, and you go, "Oh wow!" Neymar does it. It's like, "Screw you!"
I get it. Like, no, it is Ronaldinho, by the way, people. It is Ronaldinho. I'm just saying, it's not. I don't think it's as easy as just saying, "Oh yeah, just move on." But Ronaldinho is one of the most magical footballers I've ever seen in my life. Like, he literally looked like he was samba dancing while playing football. Like, who does that? You know what I mean? Like, one magical player, absolute magical player.
Yeah. Let's do a weird one. Arsenal's Laurent versus Gary Neville. Technical ability, Laurent was better, but Gary Neville was a better right back overall and achieved more for me. I'm going to back Gaza.
Enough of Laurent
I'm backing. Yeah, you're young, isn't it? I'm backing. Yeah. I'm backing our Gaza on that one. Prime Fernando Torres or Harry Kane?
Torres, bro. Listen, I'm sorry. Harry Kane is a what?
No.
What do you mean no?
I think Harry Kane is a better overall football player than Fernando Torres. Fernando Torres, and I don't know, hear me out on this. Fernando Torres, this is why I put Mo Salah above Fernando Torres as well from a Liverpool point of view. Fernando Torres was the last of a dying breed. Amazing elite finisher, all about pace. As soon as his pace left him, he was a bang average footballer. Harry Kane can play football, touch, pass, create. As a football player, Harry Kane. Achievements, Fernando Torres leaves him for dust. So what are we talking about here? Their ability or their overall
we said in the Premier League. We said in the Premier League, innit? So like, it kind of encompasses everything.
I just want to say, like, Harry Kane as a football player is ahead of Torres overall.
Yeah, I can admit that. Yeah,
Torres can't do anything other than score goals and run fast, and that's why his hamstrings broke.
He's wham now though. So I say that to his face, innit? Like he's got a big neck.
Bro, I don't care about weights. Jurgen ain't got no weight on it, bro. Like one time, lock. Talk about hitting Fernando Torres now. Fernando Torres was amazing though. He was amazing. Do you know one of the biggest myths about him though is that he always got the better of Vidic. He literally got the better of him in one game that was embarrassing for Vidic. I swear there was something like they played like 12. I read a stat once, and I won't get this 100% right, but I read that they played against each other like 13 times. And Man United got like 9 clean sheets, but yeah, it was always looked at as Torres was like the nemesis of Vidic. It was one game. But who won the league that year? Hey! He was very good though. He was very, very good. Prime Henry or prime Samuel Eto'o?
Why are we asking these questions? Why? I love them both. So give me players that I love. Give me one that I don't like, and then one that I love, so I can just pick the easy one. Samuel Eto'o.
You go with Eto'o. I'm going with Henry. Henry.
And this is not, again, because I think they're both exceptional footballers.
Eto'o at Chelsea was dead. No, I'm joking. He wasn't.
Was he at Everton as well? I saw a man went Everton too. It was really weird. But no, both of them are amazing footballers. And Henry is probably one of the most iconic footballers to ever grace the football pitch. But when I can't separate two, you got to look at their career. And that Champions League with Inter Milan I think this tops it for me. That treble.
Okay, I hear you. I mean, yeah, that season he was out of this world. Check, Alisson or Edison?
Check. What is the other two? One of them ain't even a goalkeeper. You've added 2 goalkeepers and a midfielder into this question. Next. Check.
I actually won't debate on that one in the sense of I think goalkeepers from those different eras, it's too hard because Czech was never trained to use his feet, like no goalkeeper from his era. So it's almost impossible to compare the two. So Czech, if we do Alisson or Edison, I'm going with Alisson. I think Alisson is a better goalkeeper than Edison. Look at all these Liverpool players I'm backing today. Oh, wow.
Oh, Alisson is definitely a better goalkeeper than Edison.
Messi or Maradona?
Messi.
I'm going to go with Messi. I think Maradona. You know,
may he rest in peace, man like Maradona. But yeah, has to be Messi.
Yeah, I feel like I do. Look, Maradona, one of the greats. Messi's just one of the top 2 football players ever, and I put him and Cristiano Ronaldo as 2 away from. I put them in front of every other football player ever. So I have to be consistent with that message and say Lionel Messi in terms of that. Plus, I saw Messi play more, so it's a harder one to. It's a difficult one to pick. Let's have a look at we'll do a couple more people. We'll do a couple more, but I want to see a good one. I want to see a good one.
These have been getting juicy, man. These have been getting juicy.
These have been getting better. People. There's been not a lot of Man United ones, which is cool.
Because they know the answer.
There's no point putting a Man United one in there. Yeah. R.I.P. Maradona, though. I'm like, yeah, I'm not like stamping on his fucking grave. Relax. Relax. A lot of people.
Someone's saying Pele or Maradona. I'm not old enough to flipping know.
Daniel Sweetman here. R9 or CR7?
The real Ronaldo that we all know and love, Cristiano.
100. Listen, again, same logic as before.
Yeah.
Same logic as before. What Cristiano Ronaldo has done overall, when you look at his career, it is incomparable. On technical ability, of course, R9 is, some will say better, some will say same, some will say worse. That's cool. It's the goals, though. It's the goals, it's the trophies, it's the consistency, it's the longevity. And even if we use Dom Hussim's views, the individual awards, like everything is in. And I get that people say like injuries stop R9, but it did happen.
But the thing is, with the injuries as well, some of them you can tell are self-sustained. If you look at his career and his lifestyle, he did that to himself. You know what I mean? Like, Ronaldo
was eating and drinking like R9 was. If Cristiano was eating and drinking like R9 was, he wouldn't be doing what he's doing now at 36. So there is an element of it where you can't help certain injuries. But how much did you say were brought on by? Look at Wayne Rooney. Wayne Rooney's career, for me, like to have like 431 goal contributions in under 700 games is brilliant. But if Wayne Rooney stayed fit, ate like a monk, only drank water, didn't drink alcohol, didn't smoke, wholesome, life at home, I easily feel like his career would have been prolonged. He would have retired with maybe another 200 games at the highest level, but easily another 200, maybe he could have got another 100, 150 goal contributions because he'd have been fitter in his peak. And he had those years where he was like bringing in small, like he could have had so much more. But yeah, I'm picking CR7, 110%. Listen, I respect R9, but Cristiano is next. Ramos or Puel or Thiago Silva or Terry in their primes. Wow.
That's an elite centre back.
I'm going Ramos, John Terry.
I'm going Ramos. Just because he's an absolute madman. Like, Puel's probably like, Puel and Thiago Silva are probably better technically. But saying that, no, Ramos is he's actually technically very good as well. Hey, Ramos, for them pens as well. Ramos, isn't it?
Yeah. See, this comment here isn't fair. Like R9 clear. How is he clear of Cristiano Ronaldo? That suggests clear is where it becomes disrespectful. Like for me, it really is Beckham or Trent. What, as a right back or a right winger?
Crossing,
Hang on.
crossing.
Yeah, crossing, I'll still say Beckham.
Yeah,
Do you know why
because
I'm going to say Beckham? Because they claim that Trent's the best right back ever because he pioneered it. Those type of whippy crosses were pioneered by Beckham, so therefore
like Beckham is Trent's dad.
use that logic. Use that logic. Use the logic.
But this one here,
that's what you got to do. Just use Pep or Jose or Klopp.
Pep.
Ah.
In terms of what I like, the football I like the most, it's Klopp's.
Klopp.
But in terms of
Klopp's the most
career,
entertaining.
Pep's.
Yeah, Klopp's the most entertaining. Jose's the most charismatic. Career Pep. Although Pep hasn't done one thing that Jose's done, taken over. Well, I don't necessarily think that Klopp's taken over an unfancied team.
I was going to say win Champions League. Oh, but he has won the Champions League. What am I doing?
Yeah, they all won it. Yeah.
Just hasn't won it in there.
Robinho or Prime Kaka. Prime Kaka.
I say Kaka. Yeah, Kaka. I like Robinho, but
Prime
Pepe or Ramos.
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 I'm going with Ramos still.
Both of them mad guys, though. Both of them were mad.
Prime Goldbridge or Prime DT.
Oi, Prime DT, man. Oi, the memes from that brother. Yes, give me that. Prime DT.
I like what Goldbridge has become, though. Goldbridge's character evolution into. I was watching a film last night, which is strange. The characters are all from Nottingham, and the way one of them talks is like you can see where Mark Goldbridge created his voices from and his reactions and the kind of the alter ego that is Mark Goldbridge. That's the one thing I say. Mark Goldbridge is an alter ego, like a character, like an Alan Partridge, where DT is just angry. So I would go with DT slightly because DT is like it's just him being angry. Where Goldbridge is like what Mark Goldbridge has done. He's created what's that guy? Is it Big Shaq? Like Mark Goldbridge is like a Big Shaq.
Yeah,
like character of it's like an exaggerated part of someone's personality. So I'd go with DT on that. Although Goldbridge, if you ask me who the GOAT is of the two, as in like
overall career of YouTube, Goldbridge
killed it. Goldbridge has just like killed it in terms of what he's done and created there. Pure or Rio Ferdinand every day of the week.
Oh, listen, that's one again. Rio against anyone, I'm picking Rio. I just love that guy.
I agree completely.
Last one, Terry.
Trent, one sec. Trent will have more goals and assists than Beckham. Cool. So we're going to base it on goals and assists. Just remember that logic for other arguments, please. Thank you. The disrespect to Trent to put that Beckham's name in the same breath. Oh, wow.
Wow. That's disrespect to Beckham. Are you ridiculous? Cool, isn't it?
Have you ever won a treble? Have you fought? No, I'm not going to get into those songs today. What was the last one we're going to do?
Let's see.
Jazzy.
Let's keep it modern era because I saw someone say like Cruyff or Zidane, and like let's keep it modern era where like at least both me and Terry can guarantee that we've seen them both. Bale or Neymar, you've got Aguero or Torres, Prime QL and Prime Owen, De Gea, Van der Sar.
The comment here that says Ruben Diaz will be better than John Terry.
Oh, okay. If you believe that, that is okay. I haven't heard much about Ruben Diaz this season than last season. To be fair, is a new player hype died down? Is that what it is?
I don't know what it is.
Here we go. Just to finish it off, a classic.
Lampard or Gerrard? Go on, you can go first on that.
Give me the man that's won multiple Premier Leagues and the Champions League every day of the week. Lampard.
If I speak, I'm going to go with Steven Gerrard. Steven Gerrard is who I'm going to go with. Ribery or Ryan Giggs? Ryan Giggs.
Ribery.
Get the fuck out of here.
No, I'm sorry, Terry. It's Ribery.
It's not. He wasn't even a better winger than Giggs, let alone a better career. But we'll leave that one there. Giggs is the Don, mate. Ronaldo at United or Madrid? Madrid. Like, although what he did at Man United was amazing. Like Madrid, man, yeah, it's a crazy one. Listen, everybody that tuned in, thank you today. We really appreciate it. I will have a bit of Christmas content out for you over the next day or so, not a problem. Back Boxing Day for a big match reaction bonanza if all the games are still going ahead. I know that there's been more cancelled games today. I think Burnley versus the Burnley game has now been called off, but so far everything else seems to be going ahead.
Inevitable.
Everything else seems to be going ahead right now. I was really looking forward to Burnley Everton. It was going to be a good game. All the super chatters, thank you. Everybody else, if I don't speak to you before I see one another stream, Merry Christmas if you celebrate. Happy holidays if you don't. KJ, it's been a pleasure as always, my friend. Thank you very much indeed. Remember to go check out Fan Team. All the links are in the descriptions below. They are launching. I need to scroll that back up. They're launching a brand. I don't know why it's signed me out and done what it's done there. I have to sign back in again. I didn't realize it had signed me out for a second. Let me just jump back into this. But go and check it out, please, people. Amazing games, fantasy football games on offer with hundreds of thousands of pounds that you could potentially go and win. So go check out our title sponsors now. Go click on those links and get yourself signed up and ready. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless.